All right, thanks, Dirk. All right, well, our first guest on the show today is a leading thinker in the realm of lean improvement, but his focus lies not on the shop floor, but in the accounting office. Brian Maskell is a certified public accountant and the author of 8 books on lean and financial management, including Practical Lean Accounting and the Lean Business Management System. He's also well known as a speaker, trainer, and consultant. His company, BMA Inc., counts among its hot clientele high-performing multinationals such as Boeing, Nestle, Novartis Pharmaceuticals, and many, many others. Maskell's latest article, which we just saw a moment ago, Lean Accounting in a Nutshell, appeared in Monday's issue of Quality Digest Daily. So, Brian Maskell, I'd like to welcome you to Quality Digest Live.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Well, in your article, the article that I just referenced, you begin by saying that companies starting a lean journey quickly realize that they need to completely overhaul their accounting, control, and measurement system. So, in a nutshell, why is that?
Okay. Well, first of all, I wouldn't think of it as completely overhauling, but what we do want to do is to use the information in a very different way. We're looking for timely information, usually weekly for most companies. We want to have information that's financial and operational information that's understandable to everybody and usable. And so I think one of the issues that we're really trying to address is to say that the traditional accounting control and measurement systems that most companies have doesn't really fit those criteria. It often comes out monthly, which is not, and often, rather late in that it's very few people in the company understand the financial information, and it's not very usable for people. So what we're trying to do is to create information that is very usable, particularly for value stream managers and their teams, so as to use the information to improve and make more money.
It's funny. You think of accounting, and accounting's been around for thousands of companies and going back for centuries and going back to when we had abacus or counted on beads or something, right? So what's different in business today that requires a new approach and the new approaches that you describe?
Yeah, well, the answer, of course, is lean, but the accounting systems that are used now were first introduced in about the 1920s, but really took hold in the 1950s. Now, during those times, they were designed to support high volume mass production, and lean is in many ways the opposite of high volume mass production. We're looking at single piece flow and those kinds of things. And also, we live in a more dynamic world. I think that we need information that's much more usable and relevant for what the people need to do. For example, we want to report what we call real numbers. So that means that if someone's running a value stream or even a whole company, we want to say, well, what are the revenues? How much did we bring in this week? What was our cost? How much did we spend? And how much money is going to go in the bank? Now, you don't ever see that in a traditional accounting system because of all the way that the allocations are done. So I'm not in any way, though, putting down the traditional systems. It's just that they're not designed for what we're now trying to do, which is work in a lean operation.
Just a follow-up question on that so it sounds like what you're saying is things like maybe just in time and so forth require an accounting system that gives you more access to like real-time data, whereas something in the past you didn't worry about that because your shipments came in periodically, your shipments went out periodically. It wasn't a daily churn.
Well, I think the first thing is the value streams. So if you're a value stream manager, then you're responsible for the whole flow of the process. And in many companies, you're also responsible for the revenues and the purchasing, and it's like a mini company within the company. And so we need to have information that enables us to manage those things on a regular basis, and that's why we need it more quickly. We also, though, need to be making a lot of decisions. And when we work with lean accounting, our decisions are not made based on what is the cost of the product and what, like, for example, if you said the the price of the product's $100 and the standard cost is $60, you would assume, I bet most people in the company would assume that if we sold one of those, we would be putting $40 in the bank. But of course, that's completely untrue. There's because most a big lump of the cost for a standard cost is allocations. So the way that we look at that in a lean environment is all decisions are made based on what is the real impact on the value stream as a whole. So that so we would be saying, if we introduce a new product, for example, how would we make a decision on that? Well, we'd look at the whole value stream. What's going to happen to our revenues? What's going to happen to our costs? And what's going to happen to how much money is going to go in the bank as a result of that? This is real and straightforward, and everybody in the company can immediately understand that. We want to engage the people in the organization, particularly within the value streams. We want to engage in really understanding customers' needs, in building lean processes, making improvement on a daily, weekly basis, and getting the right kind of results. And to do that, they've got to have good information, and information that makes sense to them. Another thing is most companies find it very hard to work out what is the true financial benefit of doing lean improvement. And that's, you'd think about, normally you'd say, well, that must be pretty easy to do, but it actually isn't, because, if you do a lean improvement, maybe you're going to do maybe as a result of that, some savings might come out, but mostly not. Mostly you get some savings, but you get mostly it opens up more capacity. And then the whole issue is, what are we going to do with this capacity? And I've worked with a lot of companies where they have really strange ways of doing this idea of what is the financial benefit. Many companies would say, what's the standard cost? It's $100 now. As a result of our lean improvement, it's going to go down from $100 down to $90. Well, some of that would be, a lot of it actually would be very much driven by the labor cost. And so the question is, are we going to do our lean improvement and lay off people? Is real cost actually going to go down? Now, of course, in lean, you would never do a lean improvement and then lay people off, because the people doing the lean are the people that are going to be laid off. So that pretty soon messes up your lean process. You see what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
The standard cost is just very unhelpful in my ideas here.
Yeah, and it's clear when you explain it that way. I wonder if managers managers many times come up through the ranks and they're used to the shop floor, and is it harder, do you think, to communicate with them on those ideas that are a little more esoteric in terms of lean improvements financially than versus the changes that will happen on the shop floor in terms of maybe moving around some equipment and things like that?
Yeah, you see, I wouldn't see it as esoteric. I would see the traditional accounting as esoteric, because usually when you have a monthly meeting to go through the financials, the accountants come and explain it. But if you do lean accounting, there's no need to explain it. Everybody understands it. And I think also when you're moving from traditional manufacturing into lean manufacturing, you're making radical change in everything. And I would think the accounting changes are fairly modest in comparison to going from mass production to single piece flow, And the other thing that lean accounting is really helpful to is it's just a lot less work. If you look at what accountants do, they have to, at least the management accountants anyway, they have to keep track of all kinds of costs, and what's the cost of this work order, and what happened to the scrap on this item. All of those things go into computer systems, thousands of millions of transactions, and then these come out then with, in my opinion, rather spurious results. Whereas in lean accounting, we're really just tracking the financials at a value stream level, which is just a lot less work. We actually work actively on reducing the transactions so that we can have real information that the people can understand and use and drive lean improvement. Now, I'm not slagging down the old systems. As you said, they've been around for years and they've done as well. But if you want to be a lean company, you'll find that the traditional accounting system actively pushes back. Let me give you an example. I'll do a measurement and then a financial thing. One measurement would be measuring efficiency. It's very common for companies to measure efficiency of a production area or a cell, or in many cases, or some cases, individual people, where efficiency says it should take 10 minutes to make this. Did you make it in 11? Did you make it in 8? How efficient were you? Now, if you measure people by efficiency, they're going to work hard to become efficient, right? Now, what do you have to do to become efficient? Well, they're going to work all the time making the product. They're going to select the products that are going to enable them to be more efficient. They're going to work in very large batches. They might even make things in a different sequence so as to get the efficiency numbers that they're looking for. But that's exactly the opposite of what we want to do in a lean organization. Now, just from a lean point of view, we only want to make the things that customers order. So we're not going to be making stuff that we don't immediately need. But the other side is, more important, is we want the people who are doing the work, whether that's in the shop floor, or in the office, or in the design area, or the salespeople, we want them doing their work, but we also want them doing improvement. And if we're using efficiency, the people will just work all the time on achieving their efficiency, whereas we want them to work not only on being efficient people, but we want them to maximize the improvement that they can make.
Exactly.
That's right. Well, thank you, Brian. I think that was a good view of lean and lean accounting. We're very thankful that you joined us here on the show today. We look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun.
Thank you, Brian. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right.